Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hello. How are you doing today? I started a little bit late today. I came in. I normally go in about 10 minutes early, but I didn't get a chance to because I'm running around trying to do stuff. Just do stuff. So welcome to the Unfiltered Call-In Show, where we talk about Agile, Scrum, entrepreneurship, those kind of things that, hopefully you love, hopefully you enjoy. And if you love and enjoy those things, then we're going to be doing a little bit of that tonight for sure. Okay, for sure. So first and foremost, I want to say to you, welcome, and let me give you an idea how we run the show. We do a few things here, but the first thing we do is we just kind of go through just what's going on for the week, and then after that, we really get into our topic. And what is our topic this week? Those big mistakes that ScrumMasters make. It's going to be an interesting topic. This is one that kind of looking forward to some degree. Now, we talk about that for about, I say 10, 15 minutes. Somewhere around 8:15, 8:20, maybe a little bit after, we go ahead and jump into the remaining part of our topic. And that remaining part of our topic will be about you asking questions, okay? So cue it up, get prepared, get ready to ask as many questions as you want to ask. We're here to take care of that. And we kind of shut this show down at 9 o'clock, and we're usually done. So we get a good 30 minutes of just back and forth conversation. So we'll have a good time, just kind of doing what we are supposed to do tonight. So this is a good thing. Now, I will go ahead and make sure that I ultimately send out the link and stuff like that. But if you're right now in the green room or you have called in, my volume is low. Let me double check that. I appreciate that. Patrick, you always, major friend, major buddy. I'm going to go ahead and pull some stuff in for myself to make sure that I'm getting what I'm supposed to be getting. I'm looking at my actual levels, and they look pretty good from what I can tell. So I'm actually going ahead with my levels and making sure that they're good, so I appreciate it. So I'll project more, so then you can hear me a little better. So hopefully this is better. Just let me know, Patrick. Matter of fact, how you doing today, brother? How's it going for you? Hopefully you've had an absolutely better week. Amazing week. Because we're just really getting started. Not better. It should have already been amazing. But thank you. And Patrick telling me that it's getting better. So anybody else having problems hearing me, just let me know. I'm okay with you giving me feedback. And I'm getting me some water as well. So thank you. Welcome, Patrick. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do is please do like Patrick did. Just give me a shout. Say hello. Say hello. Please say hello. And one thing about saying hello that's important is that I will say hello back to you. So what's really going on this week? This week is an interesting week. And the reason why it's interesting because I got a CSM. I got a nice CSM that's going on today, Certified Scrum Master. I got a ACSM that's happening pretty soon as well. So next week I got a half-day CSM. And then the week after that, the week of the 15th, so the week of the 8th, CSM, weekend, August 13th, weekend CSM, and then the actual ACSM is August 15th. So just know that that's coming. I'm wrapping up another one of these quarters in terms of school. So that's a good thing, right? School, killing me. Now, why is it killing me? It just is, man. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing what people tell you to do. And that's me all day, every day. I just don't like doing what people tell me to do sometimes, right? And so I run into a few problems, but I'm not saying be like me is the point I'm making. Don't be like Devon, as some people might call me, Uncle D. You feel me? So, anyway. My point to you is welcome, and I will say hi to a couple other people. Jennifer, how you been? How you doing? Hopefully life is good with you. Abdullah, I think you was in class today. Class, right? So thank you for stopping by, okay? Now, just know this video is available for the future, right? So you're welcome to come back to this video anytime you want to. Let's see, what else do I need to say? I think that's really fundamentally it, other than making sure that I get my daughter, into school. I got to go over to Chicago to take care of a couple things. So I got to do some running around and taking care of things. So that's a super amazing and good thing at the same time. So that being said, let's start talking about the topic at hand. Now, hold your horses. Now, understand, we're talking about the big mistakes that a Scrum Master make. That's what our topic is all about at this particular point in time. So with that being the topic, just make sure that you understand that I look forward to talking to you when we kind of start wrapping it up. Okay, so when we start wrapping it up, I look forward to, not wrapping up, we wrap up the topic. So, big mistakes that Scrum Masters make. Now, I'm going to just really start this off. Let me put this back here for a second. I'm going to start this off in a real simple place. Probably one of the number one mistakes that I see a Scrum Master actually make. And I was thinking about how to phrase this. And this is where my dilemma comes in. I'm thinking about how to phrase this. And probably one of the bigger issues that I always find with Scrum Masters, especially one of the biggest mistakes that they make, is what I call unbecoming behaviors related to the Scrum Master role. Now, I'm going to say this to you all that's in the green room. If you are in the green room and you're here just to watch, come out the green room. You don't need to be there. If you're in the green room to ask a question later, I got you. You just got to wait in the green room until we wrap up. When I say unbecoming behaviors, just track what I'm saying to you. You know how some Scrum Masters act like they're the boss? They're the boss of everyone. They're going to tell the team exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. That's a whole problem. That's a whole problem on many, many levels. Have I personally ever been that way? No, I have never been that way myself. But it just makes it an interesting relationship for you to build with the people that surround you. Another becoming behavior of a Scrum Master, right, is trying to be the leader of the team. The servant leader is not the same thing as the leader, right? Servant leadership is about enriching the lives of other people, the organization, being a servant first. So it's a very different type of leadership, and you can be in any position whatsoever and be a good servant leader. You don't have to be the named leader whatsoever to be the servant leader. Another one of those unbecoming behaviors that I must add to the list is you being the project manager aficionado. The Scrum Master is not the PM, even though most people want to think that. Realistically, from a project management perspective, the Scrum Master really takes care of impediments, roadblocks, things of that nature. Your product owner is really more of your actual project manager than a Scrum Master, because they deal with things like scope, budget, conversations with the stakeholders, and many other things that's on that list. So Scrum Masters, they gotta be the PM. That's a whole problem, right? That's an unbecoming behavior. Another unbecoming behavior is, you all know that Scrum Master who is just a secretary, is just an administrative assistant. They only really set up meetings. They only really just run around and do exactly what's said of them. They're not a change agent whatsoever. None whatsoever. That's a whole problem, because a Scrum Master, I'm gonna say this: you getting paid too much money for that. And I'm gonna say this to you: you are backing up, picking up your salary, like you backing up, picking up your salary with your hand behind you, stealing from people, right? Because you are way more as a Scrum Master. You're supposed to be way more than that. And this list can go on, but I'll give you one more of what I call unbecoming behavior. And that is, you know, the Scrum Master that's the mediator, the Scrum Master that has to be in the middle of everything. Like, no matter who got to talk to who, the Scrum Master got to be in the middle of that conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Have you ever seen that Scrum? Wait a minute. If you haven't seen that Scrum Master, are you that Scrum Master that everything has to go through you? Here's my question for you. You heard me bring up some unbecoming behaviors like being a boss, being a leader, being a PM, being a secretary, being a mediator. Type in the chat which one of those things you've seen. Whether you're on LinkedIn or you're actually over here on YouTube, type in the chat one of those things that you have seen, or type in the chat an unbecoming behavior that you have actually seen in terms of the Scrum Master. No shame if it's been you. Don't say it's been me that's been doing that. Don't call yourself out. But what kind of unbecoming behaviors have you actually seen? Throw that in the chat for me. I love to see what you all say. That is going to be very interesting. But again, I really think that right there is a bomb. Now, as I haven't said before, if you haven't liked, subscribed, pretty much followed this channel, please do. Go to YouTube, join us. I got to make sure we get up to 1,000 by the end of the year. We're like 560, so we're getting there. So just make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, and we can go from there. Does that make sense? So really, 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 really important. I see that Patrick's doing something out there for me, assuming the role of the subject matter expert. Here go Patrick with the extra fancy words saying SME. Subject matter expert, for those that don't know. That's all it really means, subject matter expert, okay? And the truth is, there's a lot of Scrum Masters that want to pretend to be that way. Tons of them. But should they be that way? Probably not, right? Seeing the PM Scrum Master, the leader Scrum Master, you've seen these behaviors before. You've seen them. There's no question in my mind, in my heart of hearts, for sure, you've seen these behaviors before. And for me, they are way more normal than what they should be. Okay. Here's the deal. I can't keep talking about that. I got a few more items to touch on, okay? Where do I want to go? Another unbecoming behavior, let me go someplace that's really more technical. Unbecoming behavior of a Scrum Master is ineffective Scrum events. Ineffective Scrum events. Now, it's not, a bad mistake. I passed the unbecoming behaviors. But another bad mistake of the Scrum Master is ineffective events. The reason why I say that, and let me back up. Ceremonies, meetings, rituals are all events, people. They're all events in today's world, so I want you to know that. But have you been in a Scrum meeting with a Scrum Master that just didn't really prepare for the sprint planning? You know, you in this event and you're actually frustrated about what's going on because you're ready to leave, and most of it boils down to their preparation. I mean, I can point out an event. I can point out something in every single event. But probably the event that gets on my nerves the most, that Scrum Masters don't handle well, is the actual retrospective. You're not doing your job as a Scrum Master at all if you are having ineffective retrospectives. That's because your retrospectives are not actionable. And a lot of times, there's a lot of Scrum Masters that walk away from the retrospectives with all the to-dos, with everything. They've been given all the assignments to go around and go do stuff. You know, when I walk away from the retrospective, I probably don't have no assignments. Except the things that need to be escalated. The things that need to be escalated. That's what I focus in on. Okay? That's not it. That's just number 2 of this thing. Number 3, because I got to go a little bit faster because I got to make sure I open the floor up. You ever seen that Scrum Master that is impatient? And really, their impatience leads to trying to kill the devs, you know, burning out the devs with their impatience, with their inability to really protect the team. You ever seen that one? Because I've seen that as well. And that's a huge mistake. Because here's the deal. Once your devs don't like you, call it a wrap, man. Just call it a wrap. It's over. It's over, over, over. Do you understand? Y'all, let me get an amen on that, because if some of y'all are devs and you've experienced this, you understand exactly what I mean by it. You understand exactly what I mean by it. So it is a huge mistake, because the biggest thing you lose is trust with the team. Okay? Another thing, and I could probably keep going on this forever, but I'm going to stop pretty soon. The way that I'm going to phrase this up may sound a little silly, but Scrum Masters who almost take advantage of or takes extreme knowledge and utilize it to take liberties or take advantage of others. Okay? This right here is an important one, because it's really 2 different extremes that I'm really talking about here. I'm talking about the Scrum Master that don't know Scrum. You know what? One of the things that I always do, like whenever I am on a contract and Bearded Eagle is the head contract on it, right? If I hire in a consultant that's a Scrum Master, what I immediately do, wait a minute, not even hire, anybody who works for me whatsoever, I will take them into a room and I will literally say to them, teach me Scrum. Teach me Scrum. Just so I can understand what they know. This really exposes the people that don't really know Scrum. Like, it really, really does, right? And so I'm like, oh, this is a whole problem. You've been lying. You done lied to somebody about something, and I don't know what that is. I'm not going to be a snitch. I'm not going to bust your bubble. I'm definitely not going to do that. But the idea is that you know that's a problem. Now, I said extreme, right? I said extreme knowledge, right? So let's hit the other angle. The Scrum perfectionist. Let me ask you a question. Which one have you run into more often? The Scrum perfectionist or the person that doesn't know Scrum like they should? Which one have you run into more often? Now, the Scrum perfectionist is very interesting, because the Scrum perfectionist is looking to do something that is virtually impossible to do long term. And that is ideal textbook Scrum. Like, literally, let me know. Is it the perfectionist or is the person that don't know? Which one have you seen most often? Type that in the chat for me, right? Type that in the chat for me, because I'm curious. I'm thinking about which one I've seen the most often. Like, literally, when it comes to people that's absolutely brand new, I give them a pass. I give them a pass. There's no problem. You're brand new. You don't know any better. That's what I say in my mind. That's what I say immediately. You just don't know any better. And I'm okay with that. I'm not going to really get angry about it. I ain't going to fight about it. Just is what it is. No complaints. The person that just don't know, you understand? The person that just don't know is a whole nother problem for me. Do you understand? The person that just don't know is ridiculous because you have a thing called the Scrum Guide and it's only 16 pages long. Maybe 14. It's 14 to 16. I always forget how long it is. Does that make sense? And the truth is, I run into the Scrum Master with years of experience that don't know. You understand? I run into the Scrum Master with years of experience. And I'm going to say this to you right now. If you're looking at the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide, if you're looking at the Scrum Guide right now, look at the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide. If you're looking at it right now, look at the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide. Don't be looking at the old ones, man, because Scrum evolves and changes. So anyway, that was that. Look, I'm running out of time, right? Because I'm supposed to be ready to kick this thing off so I can get questions answered tonight, right? I really want to talk about two other things, and then that's it, because I can literally talk about this one all night. In my class, I always say to people, you are only supposed to plan one sprint at a time. Do you understand that? You're only supposed to plan one sprint at a time. That's it. All that other planning, future planning, all this other kind of stuff, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. But Scrum doesn't have any true mechanisms for it. Okay? Not ideal Scrum. And so in a classroom setting, I'm in a classroom, people. You understand? I'm in a classroom. I'm trying to teach you ideally what you need to know. Not in the classroom, I plan for the future. Do you realize that when I'm doing Scrum, I have a product backlog? I have a sprint backlog? And likely because I have multiple releases, I have a release backlog. I am always planning for the future. I got a roadmap I'm looking at. I'm making sure that we move in a particular direction. Do you understand? I'm doing these things on purpose. I'm doing them on purpose for a reason. Because I want to have a look-see out in the future. So we can make sure that what we're doing is going to tie into that future. You understand? So no future planning as a real Scrum Master on the ground is an absolute no-no. Now, do I say you need to go through and plan your next 10 sprints and exactly what's going to be in the next 10 sprints? Do you need to do that? No, you don't need to do that. That's crazy. I remember one time, right? I'm in this organization and they want me to create a Microsoft project plan. An MS Project. Some of y'all may know MS Project, maybe use Salesforce, whatever you use as your project management tool, right? And they wanted me to plan 10 sprints out. They literally wanted me to do that. And here's what I did that was so stupid. I actually planned 10 sprints out, and here's what I did. Since it was software development, I had five tasks in there. The first task was like design, development, testing, and then whatever other two tasks I had in there. And I made them all 2 weeks long. And I did that so then we can have a plan. And you know what the thing that's worse about it? The thing that's worse, right? They never looked at it. Do you understand? They never looked at it. Look, don't tell me, look, really. Am I the only one here that has experienced doing mountains of documentation and it not get looked at? Nobody cares about the thing that you actually spent all this time doing, your blood, sweat, and tears. You had to sign it in blood. You know, have you ever experienced that? If you have, just, give me a thumbs up, a smiley face, or something, right? Just do that for me, right? Because I have experienced it on multiple occasions. I have. It just is what it is. You know, hey, here's what I'm going to say, though. I'm not, and this is stupid, but I got to say it because you know I'm going to be me, right? It has never made any sense for people to pay me as a consultant to do mountains of paperwork. It's a complete waste of their money. But I have learned to say to myself, you want to pay me to take notes? Okay, no problem. Pay me to take notes. Pay me to be your secretary. I'm probably going to quit at some point because I don't want to be the secretary. But you understand what I'm saying, right? Mountains of paperwork just is not beneficial for anybody. And don't none of us want to do it anyway, right? The last big mistake that I'm going to say, and then I'm going to be done with this because I got to be done with this. I got to move on. For those people that don't know, if you're in the green room, I'm going to call on you in just a minute, okay? For those of you that have never been here before, it's okay. Here's what needs to happen. If you want to join the show, you actually need to click a link to be able to join the show live. Otherwise, you can ask your question in the chat. I'll see your question in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and answer your question in the chat as best I can. So what I'm going to do now, just to make sure that I'm doing this before I bring up that last thing, because the last thing is going to be important. So let me throw this in the chat so we're all good to go, and you at least have that. And then on this other side, I'm going to do it in both chats on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm going to do absolutely both. And then I can actually make sure that you are good to go. But this last and final thing is a real simple one. And it's only simple because I've learned this lesson probably too late. No, I won't say too late in my Scrum career, right? I started Scrum in 2005. I didn't learn this lesson until 2012, okay? That literally is when I learned this lesson. And that is really very simple. To make sure that you don't neglect the product owner and the organization. It just seems like a lot of Scrum Masters, for some strange reason, feel like it's them and the developers against the world. It's them and the developers against the world, right? As I always say in class, you can't go faster. I mean, you could go super fast if you want to. But it's really horrible to be going really fast and you're delivering the wrong stuff. Who gets you the right stuff? The product owner. How do you get the product owner to get the right stuff? By making sure you engage the product owner. Matter of fact, the product owner is a part of the Scrum team, so they should automatically be engaged. It's not the product owner's job to drop off the requirements, come back 2 months later, or just come back at the sprint review. You already know. If your sprint review is for the product owner, you got a problem. You got a problem. I'm not the only one. Come on now. Am I the only one that has experienced the PO being neglected? Come on now. I'm not the only one. If you experience, raise your hand or something in this room, because don't treat me that way. Don't treat me that way. I don't want to be treated that way. I'm not the only one experienced the Scrum Masters acting like because the product owner's a part of the business or whatever it is, that now we can't really talk to the product owner and I got to mediate and block them from talking to the devs and all this other stuff. It's not only me. Some of y'all have experienced this too. The other side of that equation is ignoring the organization. Because what happens with all those things that need to be escalated that's not in the Scrum team's control? What are you going to do about those things? Well, there are really organizational things that you got to deal with. And how you going to deal with those things if you're not building the right relationships with the folks that's within the organization to help you remove the impediments, because you as a Scrum Master don't have any authority. Did you hear me say that with authority? That is so stupid. Did you hear me say that with authority? You hear me say that with my deep voice? Anyway, that's stupid. I don't have a deep voice like that. If I had a Barry White voice, I wouldn't be doing this job. Anyway, you understand my point. So, that being said, hopefully, we've gone over time. We've gone over time for the actual the conversation about this. But I was thinking about this, man, and I was excited about this topic, right? I was super excited about this topic. But let me repeat those things so you understand. And I don't remember what that came in at. But I believe the first one that I talked about was uncommon behaviors. Boss, leader, project manager, secretary, mediator, being impatient, driving the devs to burnout, extreme knowledge, either not knowing at all or just a perfectionist, neglecting the product owner, that one we just talked about last, no future planning, and ineffective scrum meetings was the one I missed. Ineffective scrum meetings was that other one. So I think I gave you 6 things here. I could have easily made that in a 10. I mean, I can continue talking about this particular topic all day, every day, because it's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I just love it. I just love it all day, every day. All day, every day. You understand? So I'm feeling good about it, okay? All right, so that being said, that leaves it at that. Anybody that is looking to join the show, anybody whatsoever that is looking to join the show, then join us on the chat. I mean, not join us on the chat. Click the link that I provided, and you will be put into a green room, and I will bring you on a show from there. So you are welcome to join us. Nobody may have any questions tonight because this was a very interesting topic. And we could talk about this topic more if you have statements to make about this particular topic. Let's see. But if you have a question and don't want to join the chat, don't want to join the actual show itself, then, phrase your question in the chat, drop it there, and I will go ahead and run through them. Does that make sense? I'll go ahead and run through them as best that I can, okay? So, once again, I'm loving it. I'm feeling good about it. I see lots of my peeps here. I didn't get a chance to say hi to Miss Kwana. There you go. I got Natalie here. There you go. How you doing? So, just hey to you all. And I already said hi to Patrick and many other people that's already been in the room already. So, that being said, I think I'm good to go. I have someone here, but I'm not sure if she's here to actually ask a question. So we're going to double check and go there first. I'm going to bring up this screen, and then we'll go ahead and add someone to the chat. Let's see what happens here, okay? All right. Miss Brenda, are you here to join the show?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but let me tell you something. Pull your actual camera down a little bit because I just see your eyes. It's like you're like this.
Okay. Okay. How's this?
That's cool.
Is
That's
that
cool.
better?
That's better. That's better. That's
Okay.
better. That's better. So welcome,
All right.
welcome,
Sorry
welcome.
about that.
I remember you. How are you?
Very good. I was in your January class.
Yes, you were.
Now
Yes,
you
you were.
remember?
I do remember. I saw your name come up. I said, wait a minute now. I remember her.
I signed in. I came on and listened last week or the week before.
Okay. Well, good. So now here's my question for you.
All
Do you
right.
have a question?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And that's because I just want to listen for today. I'll
Okay.
save my questions for next week.
Okay, then that means you don't have to be on the show live then. You can just
Well,
watch it on YouTube.
no, let me stay live.
I can't let you stay live. There might be some other people that have a question.
Oh, and you only have so much, and you only have so much space.
Well, for people that's live on the
Okay.
show, I only have so much space. Now, if you want to, now what we can do one day is you come on here and answer questions with me.
All right. How about that? I'll do that.
Yeah, you come on
So
and
I'll
answer
go
questions
back
with me.
into the quiet. Okay.
Okay. All right, then. Then we'll
We'll
talk
set that
again
up.
soon. Thank you.
Okay. Sounds good. I'll go back into the chat room. Well, not
All
the
right.
chat. I'll go off camera.
Okay, no problem. You're good to go.
Uh,
All right, everybody. That's always good because people want to check in, and that's a good thing. You don't have to come with a question. If you want to join the chat and just check in, I'm good with that too, right? So just all these things work. Did I actually? Okay, I'm looking for a timer. I just all of a sudden went to the Scrum Master class because normally in the Scrum Master class, right over here I have a timer because I'm always in the Scrum Master class making sure that there's some kind of chat that's happening. Okay, I'm gonna leave this right here so we're good to go. Okay, and so let's talk about. Oh, I got a question. Okay, Caleb, yes, you can come on live. All you have to do is just click the link to join us live, to join me live, and ask a question, comment about what's going on with you, whatever it is, right? I'm good to go with it. But the first thing that I want to do is just kind of jump with a first question, right? So Jennifer here says, thank you for the topic. Are there checklists to go by for each event? There's not a... I wouldn't say that there's not a checklist that I know of to go by for each event. The thing that we have for the events that gives you the loose shaping of the event is going to be the Scrum Guide. The Scrum Guide really gives you all the necessary information. And many of you all were in my class at some point, right? And within my class, if you go to the actual slides, because I always have slides, you can get those numbers real easy. So for example, you take a look at this. This is sprint planning right here, okay? Let me go ahead and take this off. This is sprint planning. And please note, all the information that you need that is relevant for sprint planning is right here. You got the idea what it is. You got the idea when it happens at the beginning of the sprint after the time box starts. You know, for example, it's 8 hours for the max sprint length of a calendar month, 4 weeks. You know who should be there, the product owner, devs, and Scrum Master. And then we have some inputs, and there's more inputs that exist in that, but these are very classic and typical. Capacity, the product backlog, business conditions, and wherever state your current product increment or increment is at this particular point in time. And then the outputs are basically the sprint goal and the actual sprint backlog. So literally within the slides, you have every bit of information that you need, and it's there for all of them, right? Inspect progress toward the sprint goal. That's another, that's the actual one for the daily scrum. It used to be that we would have the 3 basic questions, right? And, you go and check all these things and they all still exist. What happens for the actual sprint review? What happens for the actual sprint retrospective? All those things are there. And even if you go back to the actual sprint itself, we even give you the characteristics of every single sprint. So those are all in the slides so that you know, because the slides is where you will find all that wonderful and great bean footage, okay? You'll find all of that right there, okay? So the other statement that was made is, hey, I was in your class in 2019. Hey, if you need to forward it to the Dropbox, man, drop me a message. Drop me a message. All y'all should know my email address is team@beardedeagle. Send a message to team@beardedeagle.com. You send a message there, and if you need the latest Dropbox, I give you that, right? And you can grab those slides because I update them every year. I just do, right? If something changes, I always got a typo someplace because I just be me, right? So realistically, the main place where you can check is back with all that information that I provided you. That information is in. It is in the Scrum Guide as well, right? Because we roughly follow what's in the Scrum Guide. So you need to know that too. So it's very, very important for you to know, think about that, and kind of go from there. So not that anybody is feeling some kind of bad way or anything's going wrong. It's just at the end of the day, that information is available to you. And I want to make sure you all know that it is available to you, because the truth is, I'm not trying to hide it from you. I'm trying to make sure that you have access to it. Just for real. Just trying to make sure you have all the access that you need to have to it is what I want to do, probably more than anything else. So that being said, that is it for that. Let's see. Did I miss some questions? I don't know. I'm double checking. You all have received the actual link to join the actual show if you want to. But is there anyone with any other questions? Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Because at the end of the day, we're here to talk about those mistakes. Those bad mistakes that Scrum Master make. And it don't have to be on that topic either. So very, very, very important. Very, very good. You know, yeah, I was getting a good chuckle about, you know, that I spent too much time on that first thing, uncommon behaviors. Because you know how you see people, man, and you just wish they would do better. And there's nothing you can do about it because they don't understand and they really think they really doing a really great job of being a Scrum Master. But most of the time, if I'm really truthful, with you, most Scrum Masters' behaviors are shaped by their company. You hear what I just said? Most Scrum Masters' behaviors are shaped by the company. They're truly shaped by the company. Okay? And with them being shaped by the company, it just is what it is. Okay? So again, Caleb, you are welcome to come on live. I see that you're on YouTube. I'm going to drop one more time in the actual chat. I'm going to drop in the chat the link so you have access to that link. Okay? Just look in the chat, go up, or you'll see it. But you're welcome to join the show live. Before you join the show, I'm going to go ahead and answer another question here from Chucks Oliver. Hey, how you doing? Apart from the 3 standard questions you asked during the daily scrum, what are the other ways to facilitate the daily scrum? Okay, so Chucks, do me a favor. Make sure that you grab the Scrum 2020 Scrum Guide because you no longer have to ask the 3 questions. Let me repeat that. There are a few things that you need to understand that's been updated since the 2020 Scrum Guide from the 2017 Scrum Guide. Does that make sense? So in the 2017 Scrum Guide and the time before that, we actually had a situation where the Scrum Master needed to be there. There are 3 basic questions that need to be answered, but that no longer is the truth. As of December 2020, the Scrum Guide was updated. The Scrum Guide was updated. And since it was updated, the Scrum Master doesn't have to be there. The product owner doesn't have to be there. Only the developers have to be there. And the developers can conduct the daily scrum any way they choose to, as long as they do 2 things. They talk about how they have progressed to the sprint goal so far, and then they talk about what they're going to adapt to make sure that they meet the sprint goal. Does that make sense? Think about the statement I'm making here, right? So, literally, the 3 questions are no longer necessary. Now, Chucks, I don't know if you've ever been involved in one of my classes, but one of the things that I'm going to see if I have it here, because sometimes I keep it around. I'm just looking real quick to see if I actually have this. I don't have it here anymore. I took it out, but let me check something. But there are many ways to actually facilitate a daily scrum. But my statement to you, being that, so assuming you're a Scrum Master in some scrummish kind of role to some degree, my statement to you is a little bit different. If I'm you, I would talk to the team about what they want to do. And then based on what they want to do, I'll help facilitate them through that. Right? Regardless of what it is. However they want to conduct it. Does that make sense? Okay? But so realistically, that's what I will do. Okay? So grab that 2020 Scrum Guide, look it up. I've done round robins. I've done first person to arrive gets to go first. I've done last person arrive gets to go first. Sometimes we'll have a beanie bag of some kind and toss it around in the room. Whoever has the most pressing issue may go. There's all kinds of ways to do it. You just got to give them a way to do it, or let them figure out the best way to do it and let them go about doing it. But it's on the developers at this point in time. Okay, Chuck? So you understand and know. So hopefully that helps out. If that didn't clarify, let me know. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, y'all, is I'm going to go ahead and answer a question a different way. And this way, and I gotta let you go. Let me go ahead and unsign my placeholder and get you back into the actual. There we go. And let me go ahead and bring someone else in that wants to join us here. Hello there. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm excellent. You've been in my class too before.
Yes.
So how's it going, man?
So I got a question, right?
Okay.
And this is about team formation.
Yeah.
So as a Scrum Master, you could find yourself in two situations: a team that's already existing, or you find yourself in a situation where you have to form a team from scratch.
Yeah.
What would be, obviously, you have to get the team to have the working agreements, to decide on the definition of ready, definition of done, the team norms, the team values, decide on the sprint cadence, and all of those things.
Yeah.
What else would you strongly advise, as a key checklist to follow when forming a new agile team?
If I'm real truthful with you, man, I try my best to get to know people personally. You can throw everything else out the window. I mean, you could do team building exercises and you can do all the normal stuff that people say for you to do. But I try to get to know people personally, because what I find is when I know about you and the things that are important to you, you tend to do a better job with things that are associated with me. You tend to like me more. You tend to want to do good by me. You tend to be a better team member when you have that good socialization that's happening. So what I really tend to do above and beyond is I'll go to people's desk and do a little drive-by. I'll call people in a Zoom and be like, do you got a minute real quick? I'd love just to chat with you about something that ain't got nothing to do with this sprint real quick, if that's okay. And I would just get to know them. And the real reason I'm getting to know them is, what do you do when you join a brand new organization? Like, forget work for a second. Let's just say there was some club, there was some special society that you really was interested in. There was some hobby that you loved. And you're going to this hobby and there's 5 other people there. When you walk through the door, what are you going to do? You're going to introduce yourself, right? But beyond that, if you really want to have a relationship with them, what are you going to do at that point in time? It looked like your screen went blank, but let's continue talking, right? And you muted yourself, so unmute yourself if you can, and then if you can bring your video back, that'd be good too. But I try to get to know them, because what I find is when I get to know people, we just end up with better results, better relationships. And that turns into, in many cases, I've become a part of folks' families. Well, I get invited to dinners, and I've been invited to weddings, and things like that will classically happen for me. But those are the teams that I have where they are the absolute best team that I've ever had. Does that make sense? They're the absolute best team that I've ever had. And so it's one of those things, when I really just sit back and think about it, all I'm really saying is be a people person. Caleb, I think you're back, right? Caleb, you're back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just be a people person and really get to know folks that are there. Some people might be having, you just don't know what's happening in life. Like, I've had people that are taking care of an older parent. I've experienced that. That's a relationship we now have that we can exchange on even today. And because I know that and they know that about me, we have something else to relate on, which means it makes it easier for us to relate on this stuff, this work stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So there's all kinds of, yeah, you can play games. You can, find many ways to get to know people, a team, but get to know the actual people like they're people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Okay.
That does.
Yeah,
So,
there's this human element to Scrum. There's a human element to working with people that we should never forget. Does that make sense?
yeah.
It's kind of like you ever been, I love when I love when I have mumbles at, especially at work, right? Those that don't know, this is mumbles, right? And I love when I have mumbles because anytime somebody brings a kid in, guess where I'm taking them to? Mumbles immediately. Why am I taking them to mumbles immediately? Because if I make somebody's kid feel welcome, how you think the parent's gonna feel?
Yeah.
You understand? So realistically, for me, it's just about being human. And the thing about it, Caleb, really, man, I'm an introvert, man. I really am. And so that could be real tough for me. But I make sure, even if it takes a lot of my energy, I make sure that I take care of it. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions in reference to that or something else? You thinking? You just muted yourself. Unmute yourself, man. Okay, well, I'm going to assume that we've answered the question, and then I'm going to go and answer other questions. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. And you can always come on, brother. You can always come on, okay? Need any other help, Caleb?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Need any other help?
Yeah. Sorry, a call keep coming in that keeps interrupting that.
Oh, that's fine. Do you
But
need
yeah,
any other
so
help?
yeah. In relation to that, and that makes perfect sense what you just said.
Yeah.
What if you find yourself in a situation where, okay, your manager has set a date for the kickoff of this team, and the things you have to get done on that day of the kickoff, and also in relation to that, of a new team, you don't have a backlog yet. What is your take on Sprint Zero? Do you advise
Do it.
against it or for it?
No, for it.
Okay.
The reason why I'm for it is because in perfect Scrum, it doesn't exist. But in perfect Scrum, you have a product backlog. So the statement is, the way that I think about Sprint Zero is Sprint Zero, for those that don't know, is a preparation sprint that you have before sprint number 1 through N. And you only really want to have Sprint Zero one time. So here's my advice to you. I have done many a Sprint Zeros, okay? Done them a lot. And what I do, I do some stupid stuff. I tell people, first and foremost, we only going to be in Sprint Zero for a week. I'm likely lying, but that's what I'm telling them. Do you understand what I'm saying? The reason why I say that is because a lot of people, they come to life when they see the end date. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And normally, if the end date is, if you're talking about 4 weeks out, they start working when you get about 2 weeks from the 4 weeks.
Gotcha.
So literally, I make sure that I say that the time is shortened, and then we'll get to that Friday, and I'll be like, oh, we need more time, but let's just extend it by 1 week. I just want to get people moving. Okay. So the first thing I would give you is that advice. Don't ever have a Sprint Zero that's longer than 4 weeks. Okay. And then here's the deal. What you want to focus on in Sprint Zero is getting ready for Sprint 1.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, getting ready for Release 1. If you can get Sprint 1 and Release 1 out the way, you have a pretty good start. I'm assuming that you're taking more than one sprint to actually release something in that case. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm doing all my due diligence, shortened period of time, to make sure that we are prepared for sprint one as best as we can be prepared. The other things I may have to do, which is completely okay, is I may have to talk to people about architecture and designs and all that kind of stuff, UX, just to make sure we're all in alignment. So and then nobody's surprised as we start moving forward. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So in Sprint Zero, you do all the other preparation, like your working agreements and any other agreements you want to make. You do all that stuff in Sprint Zero for sure. But get it down to 1 week. Focus on first sprint, first release. As soon as you have that information, get up out of Sprint Zero, because you're not truly supposed to be delivering in Sprint Zero. So get out of Sprint Zero so you can deliver. And then once you get out of Sprint Zero, if you're not prepared for the future, as you think so, cut the team's capacity in half. So and then you can work on some things for the sprint and work on preparing for the future for that other 50%. Does that make sense?
I see.
And now you're actually delivering stuff at the same time that you're preparing for the future. And that's the best of both worlds, because now you have the business or the product owners or whoever in the organization, they're seeing that you're having reviews. They're seeing that you're producing stuff. But on that other 50%, you're actually now in a position where you're getting ready for the rest of the future. And 50% may not be the right term, and maybe 25%. Whatever that right thing is, that's what you do. Because you still want to prepare for that future, and you want to give the team time to think about that future. Okay?
Yeah. And my last question about that would be for the Sprint Zero, your daily Scrum, would it be more about refinement of
No, you
user
don't want to do
story?
refinement. You want to do refinement you only do refinement. You only do any events whatsoever in Sprint Zero if you absolutely need it. There's almost no purpose for a daily Scrum because you have no sprint goal.
Yeah. So
So
no
you don't have
no
no sprint
sprint
goal.
no sprint retrospectives,
None of that. You don't have none of that. You don't have any of that. It doesn't have any of the events, Scrum events in it whatsoever. You know, you might do a check-in meeting or something like that, but other than that, you don't have any of those events. So realistically, when you do a Sprint Zero, it's devoid of all that other stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, super easy. So hopefully
Okay.
that was helpful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right, brother. Need anything
All
else?
right.
You're always welcome to come back, okay?
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, y'all. That was amazing. I enjoyed that. Haven't talked about Sprint Zero in a while. I do want to answer one additional question that I've seen here. If sprints start on a Wednesday and end on a Tuesday every 2 weeks, would you do a retro on Tuesday or Wednesday? Okay. Now, I'm going to assume you've been a part of my class because I normally talk about starting sprints on a Wednesday. So for those that do not know, I start my sprints Wednesday at 1 p.m. That means 2 weeks later, I'm going to be ending a sprint in the morning on a Wednesday and beginning a new sprint in the afternoon of a Wednesday. That means the sprint review and sprint retrospective will be in the morning. So like 10 o'clock sprint review, 11 o'clock sprint retrospective, lunch, 1 o'clock start the new sprint, 1 o'clock start the brand new sprint planning. That's what I classically do. So for me, I try to get all my events done in one day. I can't get them all done, right? I'm really getting everything done except for the daily scrum. Okay? So hopefully that answers your question, but that's what I do in particular. Okay? So that being said, oh yeah. I do want to mention this. People, did y'all know that I'm a certified Scrum trainer? Did y'all know this? Anytime you spend with a certified Scrum trainer and you're talking about Scrum, for this show right here, you get one Scrum education unit. Did you just hear what I just said? This is a Scrum show. I'm a certified Scrum trainer. You get one Scrum education unit for this hour that you spent here. Does that make sense? So all of you all that's thinking about recertification and keeping it up to date, it's things like this that's going to help keep your certification up. My voice is going out. I've been hollering and screaming all day. So on that note, I think that's going to be about it for us today. Look, y'all, it has been a pleasure. You can see my voice is going. I'm going to have some honey because I got some other stuff to do. But I appreciate y'all. Right? And as Patrick said, I'm the first brother trainer. I'm the first black person on the planet Earth to become a certified Scrum trainer. Okay? Numero uno. Anyway, there's nothing special about that. But like I said, you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. This has been a pleasure. Next time, what was the topic next time? Next time I'm going to talk about this one thing destroys a Scrum Master. Next week, this thing destroys a Scrum Master. I know that's not the exact words, but that's the gist of it. This thing destroys a Scrum Master. Make sure that you come. Look, all of the month of August. All the month of August, we talking about the Scrum Master, baby. That's what we're doing. So make sure you're there, okay? For those people that's in my class, make sure you show up tomorrow on time. On time, baby. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Peace. Thank you so much. I'll see y'all next go. I'll see y'all next week. Hey, have a wonderful time. Thank you.